Hey, Gaybros.
Hey, Gaybros Jose.
Where are we today?
I'm in the Tenderloin, San Francisco.
And I'm in Chicago. I'm not going to be like giving my neighborhood. We have 75 of those.
Okay. Actually, I speaking to someone in Chicago today, and I was like, I wish I could remember his neighborhood names so I could talk about it.
Do you remember what neighborhood?
I remember one of the two words. I just don't remember what goes after the first name.
Okay. I will ask you later when it's not recorded. But what is being recorded? Why did we watch this time?
My husband has never listened to a single episode of my podcast, so I can speak honestly. He has a hard-on for gay, sad dramas. Doesn't matter if they're good, doesn't matter if they're bad. So he texted me one day and said, hey, I got tickets to, and I still can't remember the fucking name. All of us
strangers, yeah.
And I was like, God damn it, I have to go to another one of these. But then I looked it up and realized it's directed by Andrew Haigh. Hey, whatever.
Yep.
And Weekend is a very good queer film. I remember watching it thinking it was good, but then he directed 45 Years, which I still insist is one of the best films of the last, at this point, 15 years. And so I was like, okay, I'll see this. And so I texted you and I said, hey, are you going to see this? And you said, no, but I will if you really want to do a podcast about it. So I said, great. That's how we arrived at that decision.
The other thing is, when we went to watch Poor Things, that it was probably the first movie that we watched together in a very, very long time, is that they had a trailer of All of Us Strangers. And I remember like just asking you, is this interesting? Because the trailer didn't look bad. It looked like on the same line as Weekend, for example.
It's
spoilers. As this was your pick, I guess that I have to summarize it. I didn't open. Oh, I actually did open the Wikipedia. Let's see if I can do like a bit of a summarized version, because this is still on the cinemas. We don't need to spoil everything, but we can keep it like a bit high level, at least for the summary. Then I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be like just pulling the band-aid off and just like spoil everything. But basically, the story follows, let me just get the actor's name. It follows Andrew Scott, that is a screenwriter in London, and he lives in a small condo. One day, the alarm of the building goes off. He goes out and he sees that there is someone in one of the other apartments that is staring at them from the building. When he gets back, that person goes there and is a hot young guy played by Paul Mescal, I think.
Yeah, Paul Mescal's a big fucking deal now. So I think this movie was those two actors. One became famous on Fleabag.
Yeah. And he basically realizes that you are gay, I'm half drunk with this bottle, why don't you let me come in and we just have some fun. Andrew Scott just turns him down. He says that I'm not interested right now, you're pretty drunk, why don't you go back to your apartment. And then we see Andrew Scott going to visit and I don't think that this is a spoiler, but that he goes to visit his dead parents.
That's spoiler.
Is a spoiler?
I mean, they don't get that way in the trailer, and you find out, 30 minutes into the film.
Okay, I mean, I thought that it was pretty obvious when he sees him, because they address him almost in a past tense. They say that it has been a really long time since we saw you, and they are in their childhood house.
But they don't say that. He doesn't even call them mom and dad for a long time. You're like, who is he visiting these people that are exactly his age that he hasn't seen for a long time?
And they have pictures of him when he was a child.
maybe some of us were not as sharp as you picking up on contextual clues. I'm just saying.
Okay, the trailer gives you the indication that he is going to be like visiting and just having some kind of metaphysical connection with his dead parents. In any case, is that the story continues, is that he connects with the neighbor again, and they start having like some affair like together, is that they start like building a relationship. They have a romance. Yeah, they spend like a lot of time in Andrew Scott's apartment. They go out, they spend like some time out, they do some drugs. We know that Andrew Scott is a writer, and that's as far as I can read, I think.
Yeah, I think you have to cut it off. I would suffice it to say that moving forward, it's kind of a dreamy romance ghost story. Yeah, and that's it. And at the end is that what we see is a bit more of people like coming to terms and just letting like some of the bad stuff that they happen in their life go and try to grow as human beings and open themselves to love after being clearly hurt and traumatized in the past.
Yep.
There are actually some brutally well-written scenes. I'm not going to say the whole film is well-written, but that resonate, I think, with gay audiences. Particularly intimate conversations between the two main characters when we're given the rare chance that one of them opens up. Well, I guess Paul Mescal is the one who doesn't open up very much.
No.
But the other actor basically talks nonstop about his life's experience.
Yeah, and if we're done with the summary, I could say that I have a big problem with this movie. This movie is not about this character. It's not about Andrew Scott. It's not about Paul Mescal. It's not about the parents. It's about Andrew Scott's trauma of losing his parents when he was a child in an accident and being gay.
Well, yes, it's...
But
I don't know how to say it. It's about his parents never knowing that he was gay.
Yeah, and trying to
how his parents would traumatize him if they found out. Which it was like, wait, so all of this is imaginary? They never treated you as an other or less than or somebody that's particularly vulnerable.
Nope.
You're imagining all of this?
Yep. So for me, it's a bit more about like, hey, I understand that you are like, as a gay director, as a queer director, you are like trying to make a queer story about like some of the common traumas that gay people may have. But I also feel like, dude, this is a very convoluted kind of narrative device that you have made out for trying to bring closure to this character. And my problem is that you don't even care about painting these characters as full-fledged characters, and they're only vehicles for just trying to bring closure to a trauma.
Yeah, essentially everything, I would say 90% of what we see happens inside this guy's head. And I'm going to provide even more spoilers to say there's a twist ending that was particularly and stunningly disappointing, in my opinion.
I honestly, and I think that I told you this, I think that there is even one more layer of disappointment and indirection that I think that is like,
because the director lied, like
yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's like, look, because one thing that I was telling my boyfriend is like, why does this happen now? Because it's that the dead parents is that they are saying that it's like, hey, we haven't seen you in all of these years. Like, what did this connection happen now? Instead of actually 15 years ago when they died, or 20 years ago.
Well, the reason is because he falls in love.
He actually sees him before that. No, I'm sorry, spoiler alert. If someone does say, I'm going to rip it off. So if you are interested in watching this movie and you haven't watched it yet, just stop here. I'm going to go like full on. I think that the main character is dead and he's in some kind of purgatory.
What?
Yes. I think that the reason why he didn't connect with the parents before is because he didn't have the chance. But like for him, it's like completely natural, like going back to the house where the parents used to live and just like seeing them there. But it's like in that house in London, have been like without anyone living there for 20 years, it would have been sold out. Is that we are seeing like the limbo that he created for himself. And as he died, like probably committing suicide in his apartment, is that he sees other ghosts of people that they died on that apartment. That's the reason why when the alarm goes off and he goes out, there is no one out. Is that they're like 4 neighbors.
If this were a better film, I would argue against this, because I had a different interpretation of this film. Understanding this is not a great film, I think that's valid. Yeah, you're completely right. Like I can see.
I'm trying to find like meaning, with my love for sci-fi, supernatural stories or whatever, on something that it doesn't give me enough. And also at the same time is that this is not a supernatural movie from the perspective that is like, hey, it's about of the supernatural events. It's like, no, they are vehicles for just like an emotional drama. But it doesn't play well because it's so convoluted telling a story in this kind of way. And if you don't develop the characters, it's like, what is the point? Why are you doing this?
So I did read the New York Times movie review about this when I left, because I was like, hey, people are saying this is really good, and it's not.
Yeah.
I can't find it. I just tried to find it, but there's something the reviewer wrote that was like, I tried to watch this like rationally making sense of what was happening on the screen, and once I just gave that up and realized it was a metaphor, it was a better movie. And I thought, okay, but my brain spent the entire film trying to understand what I was seeing, and I couldn't make sense of it. But my psychologist husband walked out fully convinced that he was just a man going through psychosis or schizophrenia. And now I hear you think that he's dead and just going through remnants of emotions, regrets, traumas, wishes from life. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I understand what you're saying. Kind of a Jacob's ladder. Hey,
yep.
He's on his way out, and these are just the stream of consciousness thoughts that we're getting to see out.
But let me just ask you something, because like all of these interpretations are as valid as any other, but it's like, do any interpretation actually serves to make the movie better? Because my perspective is no. It's like, it doesn't matter if he's dead, if he's schizophrenic, if it's a metaphor. Is that then I have to just analyze like the kind of story, the kind of, I don't know, like idea that is presented to me, or emotions that they want to be portrayed, and those emotions are not strong enough. I just feel like they're very stereotypical from a gay manual of, hey, you're going to be like feeling like you need the approval from your parents. Hey, you're going to feel like you are like lonely than other people because you don't identify with everyone. So
my guess is no, it would not be a better film. But we talked about this when we were reviewing The Killing of a Sacred Deer. I said, I think, that Yorgos Lanthimos is a strong enough director that he knows exactly what he wants me to experience, and he makes me experience that. Yeah. I think the weakness in the direction here is that probably he had a very strong vision of what he wanted people to experience, and he didn't make me experience that. And I want to have the full context of what the film is trying to be in order to judge it. That being said, even if I did understand that, I don't think it would make the film better for me at all.
I agree. And that's like the part that feels like pretty, I don't know.
You
feels.
didn't happen to watch American Fiction, did you?
No, I didn't.
So it's a film that's out right now about a black writer, very talented, writing like great American novels, and nobody wants to buy his book, so he writes a very crass, basically racist portrayal of black life.
My pathology.
I don't remember where I was going with this at all, not even a little bit. Nope, it's gone. The thought's gone. There was some correlation, but no, I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know. This broke the flow completely, dude.
Yeah, it was something about Jeffrey Wright's character. He's fantastic in the film. He has to pretend to dumb himself down in order to get success. And I honestly think that's what That's what it was. No white people in the film were allowed to reject the book because it's a black book that seems new and inventive. So everyone's like, "Oh, this is." That is what I think this movie has. They're like, it's somewhat artistic, and we have to love it because it's gay, and the actors are beautiful. That's why I think this has such a halo of good reviews around it, not because it's a good film. So happy I remembered that thought.
That's a good thought. Congratulations. But one thing that I was impressed is like when this movie, and it runs for 2 hours too, I think, but this movie has moments that it made people like gasp or laugh or something. And I don't know in San Francisco, but here, if the cinema is full, it's like people are going to be clapping for it.
That's uniquely a Midwest trait, just so you know.
No, I've seen people in San Francisco clapping too. They clap a bit more often here. No one clapped on this one. There was not even like the attempt of one clap. It's that there was nothing. It's that no one did anything. And I just felt it's like, oh, actually in this cinema, people have realized that this movie is as empty as it actually looks.
So just speaking for myself, nobody clapped here, but I was at the Opera Plaza, which is like the most quiet movie experience.
It was just you and your husband?
Me and my husband, and then like 4 70-year-olds just shuffled out quietly and had dinner at 5 and then went to bed at 7. But if this film had some emotional impact, it had the ability to make me feel sadness and make me feel a little, sadness and cry. I would have felt it and I would have loved it as a guilty pleasure. But this film had no emotional impact on me. Like, I think I got up and asked Pablo, or my husband, you want to go get some nachos? Like, there was literally nothing to talk about for me. I didn't feel anything. It's not that it's not entertaining. I would argue the first 75% is more or less, I don't want to say compelling, but I wasn't bored.
Yeah.
The second we see the major twist at the end, I was like, oh, I just wasted some time. No, this was not acceptable.
Yeah, it's not that you wasted some time, it's that you made me waste some time.
That's true. But even subtracting the 2 hours of this film's runtime from Celine Diongo's Boating, you still owe me like 9 hours. So.
Oh, there has been like many more. Don't worry. Bellatar has something to tell you. Yeah, I mean, it just felt empty. It just felt like giving away one of the questions, but it just felt forgettable. Like artistically, it's there, but there's no real meaningful substance.
To be honest, when I texted you, I said, hey, have you seen this film? Because I have questions. I think that's what I wrote. And my questions were, everyone is saying this is good, but it's not, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. I think that
answered my question.
Yeah, I think I actually we try not to talk about the movie until we record, for just trying to not influence each other with what we felt about the movie. But in this case, as we had to reschedule because last week was crazy at work, is that I actually asked you, that is, I do, we don't need to talk too much about it, but tell me, did you like it? What did you think of it in just one sentence? Because I was seeing like the reviews and I was like, dude, this is the best rated of his movies? And I couldn't believe it because I know that you love 45 years. I think that it's okay. I think that we both are okay with Weekend, and I just felt that this is not fine. I don't even know like how people can interpret it as good.
I just looked up our exact exchange and it was on, well, let's say it was several days ago. And you said, okay, I need to ask you something, otherwise I'll explode. We don't have to go into details, but did you like All of Us Strangers? And my response was, I think there is merit to the film, which is true. I think there are some scenes, some artistic decisions that are great. And I said, did I like it? No.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of blown away at how good the reviews are and how don't know. This film, I think you said it earlier, feels empty. It's empty, and I never felt anything for any of the characters. Even though there were some beautiful moments, I just didn't feel anything.
Because they're not real characters.
So
They're not real.
At the opera, I watched this at the Kabuki, AMC Kabuki,
Oh, it was an artisan film?
in the big screening room, and I kid you not, it was full of queer men. And there was an Asian man that was about my age who came in with what I assume is his partner, which was his father's age, 100%. And the moment when Jamie Bell tells the main character, he's like, I need you to know that I love you. People started sobbing, but when I say like quietly sniffing, sobbing in the theater. And I was like, what are you crying about? Because your dad didn't tell you he loved you? Because it has nothing to do with this film. You are not crying because what we're watching. This is some other trauma.
Yep. Yeah, it just felt like a bit cheating from a gay elemental level. It just felt like, hey, I'm going to be like taking some of the common trauma elements of being gay and just like throwing it in there.
But he flipped expectations upside down because it was the mom who rejected him just enough to make you uncomfortable. But the dad was totally on board.
Honestly, how Jamie Bell behaved, I just thought that his character is also gay.
I couldn't even like perceive him as acting in the film. I just kept thinking about Nymphomaniac. Like there was nothing in this film to draw me out of those memories.
For me, this was the definition of artsy forgettable film.
Yeah, I agree. I will remember nothing about, well, I don't know, it was pretty bad. I might remember it because it's so bad.
Should we go over the questions?
Yes.
Would you watch it again? My answer is no. As you were drinking, my answer is going to be like, no. I cannot fathom any situation where I will be like, oh, All of Us are Strangers, let's watch it.
No, I'm never going to watch this again. Ever.
Would you recommend it?
No.
Yeah, I cannot think of any situation. Maybe if they ask me, do you think that All of Us is Strangers is good? The answer would be no, and it'd be like the closer that it would be to recommend it, that someone mentions it to me.
Yeah, no, this is never even going to come up in conversation.
Yeah.
Unless it's with a straight coworker who wants to impress me, they watched a gay movie.
Oh my God, you won't believe it. I watched a gay movie. Which one?
Wow!
Good for you. Just put yourself a medal. Would you remember it?
No.
Yeah, me neither. We watched it like probably a week and a half ago, at least on my case. I was afraid of just having to summarize it. Is there anything artistic about it?
Yeah, there is. There's some good. There are some scenes that I feel are well written. There are some artistic decisions that I like. Some style of shooting. Yes, I will never deny that there are moments of beauty or great cinema, but they are few and far between.
Gotcha. Yeah, for me, it's also a yes. Visually, it's striking. I think that everything has like a bit of a dreamlike property. It's like pretty well shot. The acting is good. My problem is like the story is a mess, and it's completely forgettable.
What Annihilation is to sci-fi, this film is to gay cinema.
That's fair. I think that Annihilation may be better than this.
I would agree.
Yeah, it's pretty mediocre. Is this a timeless piece, All of Us Strangers?
I think in any read, mine, yours, or my husband's, it's pretty timeless. I mean, this is a turd in any point in history.
I will go with yes, it's because I think that aesthetically there are like some choices that they feel cool for 2024. But I think that the story and everything else is like just, it doesn't matter if it's now or 40 years ago. Could you turn this into a TV show?
The only reason I hesitated is because the TV shows that I've watched that Paul Mescal is in are fantastic. But no, I would still not turn this into a TV show.
Yeah, I don't think that this needs a TV show in any kind of way. More than enough. Could this have been a short?
Yep.
I'm tempted to say yes, but I'm going to go with no from the perspective that is like, if you want to give me enough time for understanding what was the relationship of this kid with his parents, we need more than an hour. I don't think that we need 2, but we need more than an hour. And this way we can see Andrew Scott in child's pajamas.
Oh God, that's it was so funny because we recently rewatched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where we see Jim Carrey in his mother's kitchen in a onesie, and I was like, they did that scene so well. How is this scene so unimpactful? I don't understand.
It feels campy in the wrong kind of way. In a Michel Gondry movie, it's like this works because like, hey, we're going into the absurd territory. In this case, it's like, what are you trying to do with this movie? Is you trying to be campy? You're trying to be serious? You're trying to be, I don't know, melancholic? What are you doing? Honestly, just decide and then just stick to a lane. Do you think that this movie could have been better?
Yeah, I think it needs serious rewriting. I can't say the direction was particularly bad. It's just the writing. It's the story. That's it.
I agree.
The performances were pretty good.
Yeah, the performances were good. The directing was per se okay. It's more about like, look, with this script, I have no idea what you were trying to do. And he actually co-wrote this movie. So, sorry, this script. So I'm a bit of just give it to someone else. Just give the script to someone else and maybe they could do better.
45 years, just out of curiosity.
I think so. I think that he did. Because we discussed about that specific point. Yeah, he co-wrote it. And he wrote Weekend. So, should we score this?
I haven't even thought of a score. But yes, this was my pick, so you go first.
I go first. So I started this between a 6 and a 5. And I'm going to go with a 4.5. Honestly,
wow.
I'm going to go below 5 from the perspective. I always say that I'm not too interested in queer cinema because I think that it misses the mark.
Almost always.
And I had the feeling that it's like, dude, is that you actually invested in just making something beautiful, but the script is a mess. And I feel like almost a straight guy could have written this using the stereotypes of how gay people aren't happy inside them, mixing it up with a family drama and ghosts and the 6 gay sense.
I won't try and talk you out of that. My score is, you know that I think 5 is perfectly mediocre. I'm giving it a 5.5 because there were some things I could point out exactly that were better. But I could honestly I'm going to go with 5.5, but I could go with 4.5. I feel like there's just a band it belongs in, somewhere between 3 and 5.5.
Yeah, this doesn't get to okay.
No.
This is below okay, you know. And for me, it's a bit more of a personal vendetta about like, look, we need to do better. There is good gay cinema. And I feel infuriated that this is like the last 2 years gay movie.
Yep, it's disappointing. I mean, we love film festivals. We lived in San Francisco for a decade at the same time. I think we only went to the Gay and Lesbian Film Festival once, and we're like, no, never again.
So yeah, I think that we shouldn't be encouraging this type of movies.
Agreed. Well, 45 years. You want to watch good queer cinema? Watch it about 2 old white straight people.
I mean, he brought that, but it's not queer. But in any case, what are we going to be watching this?
This was my pick, so you get to pick.
Oh, okay, that's fair. So next, and I'm going to already be giving away. No, I'm going to say we're going to be watching Anna Karenina. I don't tend to watch period pieces, but there is a reason for this.
You act like you're embarrassed to watch period pieces.
I am. It's part of my identity. It's like I say, it's like, hey, I'm Jose. I hate period pieces.
I'm sorry. You love The Favorite,
but it's not a period piece.
Well, this is a conversation to continue next week.
It's not a standard period piece. So I agree with you. Is that sometimes I like some period pieces, but it's more of an exception more than the rule.
That's fair.
Anything else to say about All of Us Strangers?
Nothing from me.
And yeah, to everyone out there, thank you so much for putting out with us.
And until next week, period piece.
Okay, bye.